Good evening, Proxy Table Gaming fans. You're joined tonight by the Gobbo, and it is that time again for the Goblins Grotto Hobby Show, January edition. Please follow, like, share, subscribe on all the YouTube channels, etc. And then hosting today is myself, which is the Gobbo, champion of Goblin Kind, winner of Best Army Awards, and the Rubber Brick Hero. Joining me tonight, we have Mr. Scabfat.
Good evening, everyone.
Welcome. Have you had a nice time away? Being a virtual commentator?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. I mean, I'm in the big leagues now, isn't it?
I know.
Yeah, it was good to get all the support and adoration from my guinea pigs.
It's true.
It's true. Yeah, they were cheering me on from the sidelines.
Cheering? The guinea pigs cheer?
Yeah, they're really supportive, unlike some of us.
Yeah.
Go away. Yeah.
I turned up for one bit. And also joining us today, we have Mr. Tommy T.
Hello. Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year. How are you?
Happy New Year.
Yeah, I'm very well, thank you.
Are we going to go into how you got on at the Open?
Well, we could do. I mean, there's not too much to say. Yeah, it didn't go that well for me, but hey, you know, just blame the dice, can't I? That's what all the pro players do.
Yeah.
I was hoping for a win so that you'd be joining the Masters next year.
Yeah, me too, mate. But I was almost as far away from that as possible.
As far as me, I was in Somerset.
Yeah.
Okay. So joining us today, guys, and in today's episode, we have hobby roundups. We've got new releases from the big bad world. And our main discussion of topic today is going to be secondary objectives. We've got some wonderful models that we can use for the 9th Age. We're going to do the Beast Herds today. Then we've got a couple of company and community shout-outs that we can go through for you guys. So we will start with me. So I've been really, really busy kicking out commissions at the moment. Just left, right and centre. So I've got Goblonian squig people on the right. We've done some Minotaurs, which is the Zealot Minotaurs, by the way. And poor little goblin, Bobby the Goblin there, is about to get smushed into a fine pate. But really lovely models. And
Or Bobbo the Gobbo.
Bobbo the Gobbo. Exactly.
Yeah.
And then I've been starting my own army as well. So this is army number 2 at the Kingdom of Aquitaine. So this is currently my Robin Hood army. So lots and lots and lots of goblins, which is good fun. I'm really enjoying it at the minute. Although everything is really, really bright. But hopefully it'll look great on the table.
The fact that you've been able to do like 2 KOE armies that are very, very kind of different to each other, despite all being based around goblins pretending to be KOE. I think that kind of says good things about the book, right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
And this is the 3rd Goblin KOE army, technically.
That's true, yeah.
So the first one, which was the Art of War one, then the Fairy one, and now this one. So one day we'll get them all on the table and have a 15,000 point Goblin KOE army.
Job done. Sorted.
I've also started doing
cool, Ryan.
my own little pamphlet. Thank you, Tommy. My own little pamphlet for my army. This is going to get printed out and put alongside when I go to the Art of War next month now, guys. Getting a bit excited now.
So presumably the last finishing touch is you just printing 0-20 on each of your score outcomes, yeah?
Predictions, or... I thought I was being docked a million points.
Well, I mean, that depends on how I'm feeling on the day, isn't it?
1 or 2, give or take. But yeah,
Ever the
really looking
impartial
forward to it.
PA.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But yeah, really looking forward to it. I can't wait to see all your faces again back in the flesh rather than via this computer screen. Scabfat, what on earth are these?
So,
Oh, goodness, what is that abomination?
right. Well, funny you should say, Tommy, for that model on the right there is in fact an abomination. So yeah, Art of War is happening next month. like it's only about 4 weeks away from time of recording. One of the fantastic sponsors that have come forward and offered some help are Parabellum. And quite a few of the prizes in our prize pool are models from their rank and file fantasy game Conquest. As kind of a little display piece, I've picked up the Abomination, which is this big chungus on the right here, as well as some brute drones. And yeah, just kind of putting it together. I'll admit it was bigger than I was expecting it to be. So we've got
no shit.
We've got so we've
Is that
got
the base
it.
size you're going for under the left foot there?
yeah. It's just it's a unit filler, don't you know? So it's a one base unit filler. So I've got my warrior down in the bottom corner for scale, just to give you an idea. But yeah, that Abomination is destined to become a Feldrak Elder or Ancient. Probably going to do a interchangeable base for it. Models in the bottom left, obviously very, very work in production, but I used to have some Feldraks, which were made up primarily of Games Workshop Tyranid bits, but with these brute drones, I've realized I can basically tear the Tyranid Feldraks up, stick them onto the arse cheeks of the brute drones, and now I've got some thick Feldraks, the whole kind of John Carpenter body horror, body customization kind of horror vibe I'm going for with my warriors. Really play into that. So yeah, just got to sort out arms so I can magnetize different weapons, sort out the heads, which is going to be a bit creepy. But yeah, no, these models are really, really nice. Really, really nice.
Fun army for all the family.
Absolutely. But yeah, that wasn't the only thing I've been looking at this month. I've been firing up the 3D printer.
Wow.
So in the past, we've spoken about how I'm kind of dabbling a little bit with Tau and 40k. So I went out and printed off a sturgeon battle suit that is in no way, shape, or form reminiscent of a Riptide. But also, you know, on my own channel, Explorers of Elsewhere, we run D&D. So hopefully, well, we'll find out if any of my D&D players watch this show, but I have printed off their models. I'm going to paint them up and send them out. And I haven't told them. So that's going to be a late Christmas present.
So it's a test, is it?
Yes.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's sturgeon, we'll say, is really impressive. Massive model, isn't it?
I like the base, Dan. Yeah.
That's I think, you know, I've spoken about my questionable basing decisions when sorting this army out in the Vermin Swarm army. But yeah, no, it is fun to just spend longer putting the base together than it did printing and building the model. So
awesome. Awesome. Are you going to rip up those nice decorative table mats for Cork, or?
I might do. Yeah, I mean, we're slobs, so we don't actually use them.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair enough. Awesome. Tommy T has been doing some hobby.
Yeah, this is my Lizards army. Still very much work in progress, as evidenced by the blue sack on the Stygiosaur there.
They're awesome.
But it was good enough for tabletop over the weekend, so yeah. Still lots of painting to do on it. I'm planning on giving the whole army an enamel wash, so there'll be like grimdark lizards.
Nice.
But still yet to do that. So yeah.
That's fair enough. What models are there? Can you remind us?
They're all. It's the whole army's Lost Kingdom miniatures. The Quetzal Empire.
So you printed all these?
I printed most of them. I just bought some of the bigger ones because they were too big for my printer. But yeah.
Fair enough. That's awesome.
Yeah,
I love
they're really nice, very nice
Coatl.
to put together, and yeah, they're just really nice. They're fairly sturdy as well. I haven't actually dropped any, but none of them have just broken of their own accord. So
that's good. I'm not going to curse it by saying those pterodons are awesome.
Yeah, they're lovely models. Again, haven't done the riders for them yet. And the monsters, the monsters are really the highlight, I think.
Yeah,
Especially
I think you love
the
a massive dino, don't you?
yeah, yeah, they're just very cool and very fitting, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
They are really good.
The fact that they're 3D printable as well, it still just blows my mind. Even though I own a 3D printer now that I still haven't had a chance to use, the concept of being able to print something like this for pennies compared to buying one, I think it's just fantastic. It is going to be game changing, I think.
It's definitely, it's just to say it's just the future, you know, like these models are so good. They're so much better than what you can buy off the shelf from other companies. And, you know, you buy a printer and then you can print as many of them as you like, you know.
Yeah, production line.
There's no real limit.
You can have 3 Taurosaurs in an army then, Tommy, can you?
Yeah, I do have 3 Taurosaurs, yeah. I actually have 4 Taurosaurs because I've got 3 of the bow ones and 1 of the engine ones.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. No, thank you for sharing, mate. That's really good.
Yeah, no, they're very lovely. I would recommend. Yeah.
Awesome. So our first community shout out, our goblins behind the scenes have been searching the internet, looking for different things, and we've found bibliopunks. I think I've said that correct. But this is something that I found when I was going through my fairy stage, we'll say. Fairy stage of KOE, and I think you guys need to see them. They're really, really cool.
Oh,
I just think they're awesome.
So they're just really cute. Like how what's impressive is that they strike me as being really, really small, but actually the way they're like based and built up, makes
a
fills them
lot
out.
of it is pieces and bits and bobs from the Wood Elf kits and this Sylvaneth kits and stuff like that. So like you got the tuber on the right hand side, like the root thing's a gremlin, not gremlin, sorry, I am Nurgling, with then some of the leaves added to it. But some of the other ones are actual things that you can get from the sprues, like the sprites and things like that.
Yeah,
it's just very, very clever. And how bright he's painted.
It's very bright,
yeah.
Very
but then
bright.
I mean, I love Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, and the Nurgling conversions just remind me of the Koroks, which are like the mischievous little forest sprites.
Yes,
which is just perfect for this idea.
And then like you've got the briar dryads, so the briar roots and stuff like that. So they painted them as different color roses and things. I think it's so clever. And they're all
is that a dryad model underneath?
Yes.
With the rose on. Yeah, right.
Yeah, so he's converted all green stuff roses on. I don't know if it's green stuff or it's an actual physical like thing he's bought, or 3D printed maybe.
I mean, I think the sign of a good conversion is when you look at something and it looks amazing, but you've never seen it before, but you think to yourself, oh my god, that was so obvious.
Yeah.
Like,
so the sprites on the right hand side, which are then your Sylvan archers, there's a combination of the goblins from the Escape from Goblin Town set, Lord of the Rings. You've also got what do you call them? The fairy wings are the wings from one of the sprites. And you also got then the heads are from the Ungor set, I think, from Games Workshop. Yeah. So it's a really clever mix of parts to go together. And it creates this little dark horror fairy little being.
They do look very creepy, don't they?
Oh, they do.
I love it. That's fantastic.
Yeah, I think that, again, how bright they're painted as well really contrasts with the dark wood that they've got going around them.
Yeah, and the basing's very sort of muted, isn't it? So
very clever.
It's the actual models that are drawing the eye. Yeah, that's very good.
And then you've got things like the toadstool little chap on the left-hand side that just really just brightens it up suddenly. So massive flash of red, then massive flashes of blues and stuff like that. Just very, very clever. Yeah, really caught my eye. Is there one thing that you've noticed about the Sylvan archers on the right? So the unit filler, for example.
I mean, a honking great tree with people stood on top, so like points for verticality.
Well, it's a bloke. It's an actual tree man. He's got like hands and.
Also, yes, yeah.
Yeah, it's a bloke. Classic.
Very clever. Really, really clever. Yeah, and you can see, like, I don't know how he's converted it and stuff like that, but I think they're really, really clever. So, fantastic work, Bibliopunks. Again, guys, if you want to see your work shown on here, if you think there's something that we need to see, please send it in. We'd love to show it on the show. Okay, so next up is our little presentation, and it is going to be about secondary objectives in the 9th Age. So, being the elite gamers that we are, especially Tommy, going to tournaments and everything.
I'm just there to make up the numbers.
Exactly.
We know that.
So one of the things that I regularly have thoughts about when I'm playing the game is, why am I even here? Why am I little goblins here playing these demonic monstrosities where I have no chance in hell of ever fighting or winning? So the big thing for me and the draw for me is the immersion of the game. And I think that's why secondary objectives are really, really important.
Yeah. I mean, personally, I think that the game is better for having them than not.
Definitely.
It's because I feel it doesn't really add that much complexity to the game, but it does add a lot of what I feel to be relatively kind of interesting additional considerations for you to go through whilst playing. I mean, there are other tabletop war games of the past were kind of solely decided on who killed the most of the enemy army.
Yes.
And I mean, I don't know, in hindsight I feel that was kind of boring. Also with the secondary objectives, even before the game, thinking about it, it forces you to think, oh, does this army work well?
Yes, that's what I was going to interject, if I may. The old trope of I need to beat your army by killing it isn't how battles are won necessarily. In my opinion, I could be completely wrong here and just talking about my behind. However, it creates a game where you base your army around how you then kill the enemy rather than how you complete the objective that's at hand.
Yeah.
And in a lot more modern games, for example, like Infinity, even the most recent version of 40k, has the objectives as the primary score.
Yes. Yeah.
Thoughts, Mr. Tommy?
Yeah, I don't disagree with anything you said, but I think you're underestimating, or maybe underestimating, the influence of the secondary objectives in 9th Age, just as in like how people build their lists, and also if you're choosing an army, some armies are way better at winning the secondary than others. If you've got, say, fast, cheap scoring units that can also do other stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I would say that they are definitely positive. They're not all equal in my view. Some of them are worse than others to play. But yeah, I definitely think they're important. But at the same time, I wouldn't want this game to go away from the like kill be killed sort of scoring system.
Yeah, something that me and Dan were talking about the other day is that I think it will always have that element of killing because it is a war game, if that makes sense. So you will always be able to still win by stopping the enemy getting to the objective by killing it, as opposed to beating them to the objective, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, interestingly, so last weekend just gone, the UK Masters came and went, and I believe it was Dante, who, like the other Dante, the fake Dante, who was actually talking about secondaries. The imposter Dante, yeah. He was talking about secondaries, and he was saying that he doesn't like the way that they're implemented in the game, because you can score objectives through jank. Like there was a discussion about reforming a unit to be a conga line to stretch back and be close enough to the objective to claim it. And like I get it. I suppose there's always that kind of divide between is any war game a simulation or a game, like an abstract representation. So I mean, they're not perfect. Don't get me wrong, like Tommy says, but I think it does just make it more, playing the game more fulfilling.
I think a lot of it is just that it's a way to pull people out of just like building the sort of smashiest thing you can possibly build, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
The secondaries tend to select against Death Stars. Select against Death Stars. I think you need lots of fairly maneuverable units to win secondaries.
Yeah, agreed. Have you looked at the Infinity game before, Tommy? Have you ever seen it?
No, I know of it, but I don't really know that much about it.
That's fine.
Consider me ignorant.
That's fine.
Just
so the Infinity classified deck, so similar points system to how it's like 20-0 in theory to like 9th Age. However, the objectives, you can have multiple of them. So multiple objectives, and you then draw them in secret, and you can then complete them throughout the game, and then it adds points at the end of the game. So if, for example, you had like a 20-0 system similar to the T9A, if you then completed 3 objectives, that could possibly do a swing of 9 points the other way. If your opponent then hasn't done things either, then straight away that goes away from being 20-0 to a 11-9. But if it's more close, even, the more objectives, the more things that you've managed to do, actually you're swinging it in your direction more, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I just think
I definitely like the idea of hidden objectives.
Yeah.
That would be really cool.
An interesting thing to think about. But so the last page I've got on here is actually something for the T9A scenario supplements. So it's actually a multiple objective system for T9A, which I never knew existed until the other day.
No, I've never seen it.
So it's something to think about, and I think just
wow.
to really recommend trying this with your friends in your gaming clubs and seeing what it's like, and then starting, if it's actually any good, advocating it. Start saying to tournament organizers, actually, we want to try and do the multiple objectives. We want to try and do this. We want to try and make it so that it is very varied each game.
Well, so interestingly, to talk about it from the other side of the fence,
of course,
there is a tournament organizer group that I'm part of, Art of War, but we were talking about spicing things up and changing things around in different scenarios, different deployments, and so on. And in actual fact, a lot of the TOs were in favor of using these kind of more kooky, well, not kooky. I mean, they're just different, right? They're just not the core 6. They were in favor of using them. Like, I'm in favor of using them, but we were all of the impression that it was the player base that would be a bit uppity if we introduced quote unquote standard secondary objectives or deployment types or whatever.
It's
understandable. So I suppose, it'd be good to hear from, like, if comments are left down below, if you think that alternate rules that are a break from the norm are, if you'd be happy with them being in a tournament. Because I think it just, if people are experiencing something new and having to adapt on the fly, I think it just makes for a more exciting game.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Can I play devil's advocate and say
Of course you can.
That's not. Well, I mean, like, I don't want to poo-poo the new secondaries thing, but no, actually, no, don't worry. I won't say anything. That's cool.
No, go for it. The idea of the discussion is that we have both arguments. We need to hear the other side. So
Okay.
I was gonna be devil's advocate as well. I was gonna say yes. There is no way this could be balanced.
Okay, I wasn't going to say that, but I was going to say something else.
Go on.
So, I actually disagree, and the reason for that is that I'm not really sort of bored of the standard deployment types and secondaries. Probably because I don't get as many games in per year as some of the other guys. So yeah, I'm not exhausted with playing the sort of five games, 4,500.
So do you think this would be too many? You think?
No, it's not that. It's just that it would be another thing for me to think about when I'm not even really like mastered the army I'm playing yet. If you know what I mean? Like I'm a long way away from that. So that's just to add another layer of complexity on top, which
makes sense.
Would be not positive in my view.
Yeah, that's fair.
No, that's fair. No, thank you for bringing that up. You're wrong, but no, I'm joking.
What do you think, Ryan?
The problem I have is that I'm a narrative player first. I don't necessarily care about the end result as long as the game is fun and I can retell the story about it. So, for example, the idea of my general being killed and then my BSB taking over the army and then generating extra tasks, for example, and stuff like that from there, that is just really, really clever, and you can retell that story. So I like it. I like the multiple objectives. But again, I like Infinity for that reason as well. But I can see the positives and negatives of both sides. Dan?
Yeah. I mean, I think one way that you can solve, well, I say solve, one thing you can do is just take a leaf out of my book and refuse to acknowledge that your general's ever been killed in battle.
I definitely killed him down when we last played.
No, I told you, son. It was a
scarecrow. Yeah,
it was a scarecrow with a wooden crown.
No way. He was paced under the feet of a mighty Taurosaur.
It was warmed up a little bit. That's why your heat-sensitive lizard eyes couldn't tell the difference.
Warmed up a little bit. What, did someone sit on him for a bit and one in, did they?
Yeah.
Yeah. Worse than that, Ryan.
Worse than that. Brilliant. Anything else to go on secondary objectives?
King of the Hills trash.
Yes, it is. So,
Yeah,
okay.
Something else.
Change it for one of these.
No one knows how to play.
Okay, awesome. Thank you very much, guys, for listening to that little ramble there. If you have any interesting thoughts or any different ideas about the Ninth Age in terms of scenarios, in terms of secondary objectives, please get in touch. We'd love to hear them. Comment in the video below, and we'll try to respond as soon as we can. Cool. So one of my favourite parts is the new releases segment. So we've got starting out with Games Workshop. So we haven't done Games Workshop for a while, but they have started to release a lot more of the fantasy-based models again recently, rather than just the spam of Eldar everywhere. But on here, so they're starting to do battle boxes again for Christmas and New Year. So you can actually get these two battle boxes on the left-hand side for quite a reasonable price for Games Workshop anyway. But a lot of the newer sculpts can be used as characters. They can be used as like your elite troops in T9A. They don't have to be just your core troops. And they're quite different. Although I'm not quite sure what the whole kangaroo rider thing is going on with the High Elves, but not sure.
I mean, I'll be honest. I mean, well, I suppose I haven't been to that many tournaments recently, but I'm surprised that I haven't seen more of these new Age of Sigmar high elves down the bottom.
Yes.
I haven't seen them kind of filtering into elf armies. I mean, because they literally are pretty much just a resculpting of the old Warhammer Fantasy Battle high elves, but
with a
more
sort
blue.
of Korean, Japanese sort of aesthetic to it as well, isn't there?
Yeah.
Are they a bit big for 20 mils, basically?
Probably.
Possibly.
There probably is a bit of scale creep, to be fair.
Bit of cork, mate.
Bit of cork, mate.
Bit of cork. Oh, here we go. One thing I would say is I really like the Slanesh Chaos Warrior guys.
Yes.
If I were doing a Warriors of the Dark Gods, I would probably be tempted to use them as...
Yeah, Lust or Envy, anything like that would be brilliant.
Yeah, exactly. And the weird Demon Rider things, they look great, I think.
So much better than the monopose, what are they called, Seekers? Yeah, Seekers a lot of yesteryear.
Yeah. With the big whip things that look terrible.
Yeah. Exactly. But then on the right over here, we have a fire rune priest thingy, which again would make brilliant Slayer King, or even a Slayer rune lord, for example. Just really, really cool. And again, a dark elf chappy, Beastmaster maybe, Dan.
Yeah, with Beastmaster. I mean, I don't particularly know about the Ideneth lore. I don't know why this one's got eyes when the rest of the range doesn't.
That is exactly what I was about to say.
So yeah, I'm sure someone can inform us.
He stole them from the moray eel. That's why.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, especially if you're going for that whole aquatic sea creature monster vibe, with a Dread Elf list, that'll fit right in.
Can one of you please say release the Kraken? Boo.
Silence.
Okay, then on the right we have a Hobgoblin. So not normally fans of Hobgoblins. So it's basically a skinny orc, isn't he? So interesting.
Yeah.
Again, part of the Hobgoblin army, if you're ever thinking of going down that route. A bit more almost your Mongol style of helmet, your Cathay sort of style, mixed in with like your squig shield and stuff like that. So very interesting.
This looks much more like a Lord of the Rings miniature than
definitely
anything Warhammer, really.
Definitely. And then on the bottom right there, we have Pegleg Grot, easily the best model of the five there.
I don't know. Knife Monkey is.
Knife Monkey.
Yeah, he's got quite a
terrifying.
Why would you paint a cockatiel black? It's the anti-cockatiel.
Yeah.
But again, the ogre himself again would be good as like either a mercenary or a tyrant even. So again, just nice model.
Yeah, he would look fine in a, the old Warhammer Fantasy Battle ogre army.
Yeah, Merkvet, wouldn't he?
He doesn't really look any different to any of them.
I like a lot of the aesthetic they're doing with the Cursed City as well, and the Witch Hunters, like the big long overcoat, very late 18th century sort of thing.
Gothic horror, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Parabellum. So loads of funky new models for Parabellum. So
wow. Okay.
Oh wow.
Top left we have an Asklander Lord, who is proper beefy.
Buff. He is buff.
This is Tommy with his shirt off to the next level.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If you watch the December show, guys, you will know what we're talking about. So then the next one, you've got some Emperor's Arm style looking foot knight, or sort of like squire knights. So a bit more heavily armored, a bit more rough and ready. But the size of the bases of these, so these are going to be a lot bigger than your normal knights. Especially because Parabellum, I think they're 32 mil down.
I think it's closer to like 35, 36.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. So again, just really nice detail. Bottom left, you've actually got a cult leader. So again, that's the Ward rune. So a cult leader as well, so we can use them for your cultist armies. So something that I really wish I'd seen more of is cultist armies. So get on that, guys. I'd love to see them. Send them in. I'd love to see what's going on because I do want to do a cultist army in the future.
We'll just hit up Hyper G, get him back on the cultist train.
No, but he just wants naked dark elves. It's not really the same, is it? So then we've got the jousting knights in the center there. So again, just really cool little diamond armor. But again, for your Equitan Lord, or even your like Vampire Lord, just really, really funky models.
I mean, those knights, given that they are going to be bigger than the other knights in your army, the new KOE book with the new forest knights, whatever they are,
fake horse,
season.
Yeah, the fake
There's
horse.
quite a few models on bigger bases now, isn't there? So
yeah. And then in the
they
center,
look very nice.
a demon of some god knows description, but it's worked wonders in your flesh molder creator army, Dan.
It's a really cool model.
It's huge as well. It's bigger than your demon, I think. It's bigger than your A-bomb.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wait, bigger than the A-bomb?
Yeah.
Wow, we were.
Well, we were. So that one I think is $115.
Yeah, it better be bigger than the Abomination.
Yeah. And then on top right, we have some Toruks. Well, at least you could use them as Toruks. So some heavily armored, mutated centaur people. So for ID would be fantastic. Again, these would be your anointed. So these are the bigger ones. A lot more chunky. Really, really decent models, those ones. And then this monstrosity, the big T-Rex on the bottom. So if you put him side by side versus the GW Carnosaur, you're probably looking 4 to 5 times the size. He is huge. So the chap on the top is ogre sized.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was just going to say, for reference, because I've got some of the bases in my hand right now, the centaurs, the knights, the bases that they're modelled on are like 65 mil wide.
Yes.
So they're going to fit on, and there's room on them, right? So
yeah,
you'd be able to fit them on like a 50 by 75 or whatever, easy.
Yeah, bit cool.
Bit cool.
But yeah, the Carnosaur dinosaur feathery thing on the bottom right is just awesome. It is a proper beastie. Cool. And then my favourite of this month, Lost Kingdom miniatures. Just absolutely stunning war dancers.
Wow.
So it's a proper,
really is incredible,
like Midsummer Night's Dream sort of play, isn't it? But they're butchering everyone around them while they're doing it.
It's just showing off, really.
I know. But I have a soft spot for war dancers anyway. There's something that since the old GW times, just love the Blade Dancer unit. And to be able to print these and get a unit of these ranking up and looking so different each model, just fantastic. Really, really clever. And then to either side, you've got the, I think they're called the Kitsunes. Are they Kitsunes?
Kitsunes, yeah.
So these are the Dread Elf models that they've got going on at the moment, which are actually Japanese themed. So they've got a Japanese themed Kitsune based Dread Elf army.
Nice.
But I just thought they were just fantastic looking. The fact that they've taken their feet off and put spikes on the end instead. They are just really, really evil. Fantastic for Lost Kingdom miniatures there, guys. Any thoughts, Mr. Tommy, on these? You've got Lost Kingdom, haven't you?
Yeah, they're lovely. I'm in love with the ballet dancing Sylvan Elves.
Yeah. So you're doing Sylvans next?
These guys are just so creative. I can't believe it.
Yeah, the
Like,
detail
look at
is
the
fantastic.
sculpts. They're so good. You know, like it's just unreal. I think they are basically in a league of their own at the moment.
Yeah,
with these
100%.
models.
So, next part is models for the 9th age. So, the news feature that I want to do each month going forward is choosing a army for the wonderful game that we play, and then showcasing lots of different companies that do the models for those armies and what you could use them for in the game. So, this is an extract from the beginning of the Beasts part on the forum. So, from the dark depths of the feral forests, from the untamed plains and every wild place beyond the gaze of civilization, nature's savage heart strikes without warning. Feel the ground tremble beneath thunderous hooves. Is that supposed to be shiver? Shiver at the howls of the hunt and know that you are stalked by the beast herds. Yeah. Funky. And first up on the top left is Empire Minis with some Bestigor, so Longhorns. Again, 3D printable models. I just thought they were really nice. Reminiscent of the original Gores from GW.
That's cool. I've never seen them before.
I do like that they look really good. You're absolutely right. They fit in with like other manufacturers. I like the fact that the basing is like pre-diorama built for you.
Yeah.
Because like by the looks of it, that log that's running from
it's continuous.
Front left corner backwards,
Yes.
it looks like it's cut into bits.
Yes.
So when you place it down, it's all in place. I love that the musician is just kind of totes cash standing on that human.
Yep.
Dude, yeah. Just putting the butt of his axe onto the guy's neck.
Yeah.
And hoops his horn.
Just awesome models. Really like him. And then bite the bullet with your more Warcraft looking Minotaurs. Or what are they called in Warcraft?
Tauren.
That's the one.
Oh wow, that's gruesome, guys. I've just recognised that the champion from the Longhorn unit is holding someone's leg.
Yeah.
And then another body part in the other hand.
Yeah, he's bitten in
He's
half,
obviously
isn't he?
just like chowing down in the middle of battle.
Oh yeah.
Om nom nom.
Exactly.
That's so cool.
Got to stop for a break whenever you can, mate.
Yeah, that's it. You want to get hungry.
So you bite the bullet there. We got the Tauron. Did you say Tauron? Looking Minotaurs.
Tauren, yeah.
So a bit more civilized sort of beasts. Interesting models. It's not really my cup of tea, and they're a bit too clean for me. But again, I was never a big fan of the World of Warcraft sort of aesthetic. But that's probably right up Dan's alley. That is cool. So next one's
Obviously not.
yeah, 1-page rules. So these centaurs are just stunning.
Tell you what, 1-page rules have also been knocking it out the park recently.
Oh,
Like,
definitely.
They've just been releasing so many amazing models.
Again, dual purpose on these. These could be your Taurus for your ID, but again, your centaurs for your beast herds. Again, lots of different sculpts, lots of different weapons. Some standing up, some rearing up, some running. Just really, really smart. And then you've got some of your more bestial looking fiends on the right there. So we can like your minotaurs if you wanted a bit more demonic looking. Just really, really smart. Again, all 3D printable. And someone I've never heard before. Bestarium miniatures.
Bessarium, I've seen them on my mini factory. They're a lot more kind of, I suppose you call them almost like realistic grimdark, if
Yes.
that makes sense. Like they're a lot more gribbly.
Yes. So the ones on the left there look a lot more elven. So like a fey sort of centaur. Which I like that aesthetic. I think that's really good. As opposed to your traditional ones on the right there, which are like your massive horns and stuff like that. But still, nonetheless, really, really smart models. And then these funky people from Battle Yak. I don't know what it is. There's something about the cartooniness of them. I think that's really clever. It's just something different, isn't it? You don't see that sort of look very often.
Yeah, not too serious, I'd say.
Yeah.
They'll probably look really cool if you paint them up.
Definitely. But again, for 3D printed models, really like them. And then another newcomer to the field, the Raw Men of Harkanyaka by Daybreak Miniatures. Just some real
They're fantastic.
beastie looking models. So a mix of like your Razor Tusks, some of your Shamans, Chieftains. So this is all the models that they do for the range. But these can quite easily be all your characters that you'd ever need. And just the sculpt detail is just beautiful. Really nice. And it's not very often you get a good
Yeah,
Razor
they look
Pig.
great.
Just trying to like take it all in just to
Yeah,
see.
there's a lot going on, isn't there? The Twin Axe Minotaur Warlord, he looks amazing.
Yes.
He's really like, their pose is very intimidating, I guess.
Definitely.
Then top left, is that like a Cyclops or something?
I think
mean-
it's Cygor sized, yeah. I could be wrong.
I mean, looking at the picture kind of top middle, it looks like he's in inverted commas normal size, but
Oh, it is, yeah.
like, I mean,
3D
it's
prints.
3D printable, right? So I'm a massive fan of the so kind of bottom leftish, just the dual flails.
Yes.
It's for some reason there's just something very primal about a flail, and you don't really see it modelled on many models.
So the only thing I'm going to comment on that, and the one to the left of it, for example, is how on earth did those massive fat hands braid that hair?
I was going to say there are a lot of braids on these models. These guys are into braiding their hair.
Which is fine. Yeah, if they want to have some
Very
downtime
cute.
with their fellows afterwards, it's fine. But
I mean, what do you know? I mean, maybe they stopped off at the salon on the way to the bloodbath.
salon?
Yeah, just get some braids, get a mani pedi. Like, you don't know,
Yeah, got to keep those claws in
exactly, prime Nick.
clean
Right?
working order.
Yeah, those hooves ain't gonna polish themselves.
Brilliant work from Daybreak Miniatures. And then my favourite, Raven Twin Miniatures. These guys, I just love the horns on these. They just look so majestic. Some of the proper goat men sort of horns. So the ones on the bottom left are your longhorns. You then have your warlord in the centre, razor pigs up top, mongrels to the left, shaman, your Cygor, so again a massive cyclops, and then actually the flyy thing underneath is a Jabberwock, so again it's a massive beast as well. Just really, really interesting models.
Yeah, very nice.
And then part 2 of Raven Twin Miniatures is mounted longhorns on these beasts, which I would so use them as my chariots. I'd so use them as my chariots. But even the harpies, just fantastic sculpts.
Yeah, I like the chariot too. It looks very good. It's really good to see so much support for the Beast Herds army.
Yeah.
Traditionally, that's been one that hasn't had really any support.
Well, the previous models were
other-
over 20 years old, aren't they?
Yeah, from other military companies.
Just crazy.
Because I mean, I suppose it's difficult for beast herds to have like a readily accessible, cohesive, kind of unified inverted commas looking army without relying on other games companies.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. But no, it's fantastic work from Raven Twin. And again, all 3D printable, which I think is awesome. And then we have Archvillain Games again. So, whoever thought? Tell you what, there's not enough hyena beastmen around.
That's actually really good though. I know, like, one of the Bristol boys has a beast herds army, and he uses the gnolls from Frostgrave. So yeah, these would pair up really nice. Yeah,
so these are like your longhorn sort of style. Your bigger, more brutal looking chaps. And then they thought, oh no, this isn't horrific enough for us at Archvillain Games. We'll do the mutated Minotaur ones as well. Just
what?
Oh wow!
Hang on, I'm just gonna.
God.
What is
Those are
happening?
massive.
yeah, they are just horrific.
What's going on the left there?
Oh, he's
Like
having
biting the.
a chow down,
Yeah.
but he's mutating at the same time. Yeah.
Yeah, he's being civilized. He's using his head mouth rather than his forearm mouth.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Exactly.
Yeah.
But I just think, again, the idea that the hyenas just eat anything, including things that potentially make them mutate, I just think it's really, really smart. And again, they've managed to pull it off across all of this.
I like the big like crest things on their backs. I think that actually they've done that really well. They look kind of hunched over and mutated.
Imagine painting them with like the black spots that you'd have on an actual hyena.
Yeah. I really do appreciate when there are options to have a beast herds army that kind of focus on different animals to kind of like the goat bull archetypes that you tend to see.
Exactly.
Like I know if I ever did beast herds, it'd be an avian beast herds army.
Yeah.
But yeah, so stuff like this is really exciting.
And just again, the one on the bottom left, just the guts all spilling out of that body. Just,
Yeah.
but no, just the way they're perched over, all the different sculpts and different ways they. Imagine having a unit of them. That would be your centerpiece, wouldn't it? Just be beautiful.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Loads of armor on them as well. Yeah, they look great.
No, cracking job from Archvillain once again, blowing it out of the water. Okay, community shout out number 2. So this one I actually found about 4 hours ago, and I had to just do a screen record on my phone because I couldn't get it to save anywhere because I just saw it as I was scrolling through. But it's Den of Imagination, which I'm not sure if you guys know. They're a big painting company on Instagram, and they've converted this vampire on zombie dragon. I just want you just to watch the video and just take it in for a second, okay?
Mm-hmm. Oh. I mean, that's 1,000 points a model I'll happily shoot off with a cannon.
Oh yeah, 100%. I'd be tempted to throw my tape measure at it as well. I think it's stunning. Absolutely stunning.
It is.
Yeah, no, it's really stunning. Yeah.
It's also the bravery to take one of the more expensive kits from G-Dubs and then...
Well, technically it's some of the 3 expensive. So you've got the Terrorgeist model, you've also got the Mortark, and also you've then got the Archaon model. So that's easily 200 squids worth just to get cannoned off by a Vermin Swarm player.
Yeah.
Typical.
Lovely Vermin Swarm. No, truly that is fantastic, and that's really inspired me to get a Vampire Zombie Dragon army. We're not doing it now. Maybe another time. But no, fantastic from Den of Imagination. There we go, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. We really do enjoy making these videos, and we would love to continue in the future. So please like, share, and subscribe. Talk to us, get involved. We want to hear your army lists. We want to see your great conversions that you're doing. And we really want to start pushing forwards the hobby conversation. And so for all listeners, I have some hobby homework for you this month. So go out into the hobby community and comment on 5 models and then share them on Instagram to @ptg.gobbo. And so I can see them, so that I can talk to them as well and really congratulate the guys on what they've achieved. Okay, and then coming up next month, it's Bristol Art of War, War of Art review. So we're going to have the winners and pictures from the event. We've got special guest commentators, not that Tommy isn't special. And then once again, thank you and stay safe.